Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Sicker Boom, and that's just because that sounds a lot better than I have a small cold boom. But that is not going to stop me. My voice may sound different, but we are still going to be dragging another Gen 3 Pokemon kicking and screaming into Kanto to see how it does. Today, we're going to see if we can beat the game Pokemon FireRed with only a Corphish. Now, in a lot of ways, Corphish is a lot like Krabby. It's got good attack, a little bit lower defense, and then everything else just kind of spirals down from there. The good news is, Corphish can learn a setup move, some pretty solid physical moves, and even a couple special moves if needed. I think that beating the game will be possible, but I think our lower speed and not so great special will catch up to us in the end. Also, if you like this kind of content and you don't think I'm completely horrible, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're pretty close to 1,000, and we're going to keep pushing until we get there. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the few rules that we do have in place. We can only use Corphish in battle, but other Pokemon can and will be used for HM use. I cannot use items in battle, but items outside of battle can and will be used. Finally, we do use rare candies if we can't get past a certain point. We'll typically try a battle multiple times to see if it was a fluke or bad RNG, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Let's go ahead and hop into the run. We give the rival Bulbasaur, because that's going to be the hardest for us to fight overall. As we pick our Corphish, it has a hasty nature, which ups our speed, but decreases defense. Honestly, that's fine. At the end of the day, we'll have Quick Claw, but the guarantee to outspeed things is probably going to be useful. We have the ability Hyper Cutter, which means our attack can't be lowered, so things like Intimidate and Feather Dance won't be causing any issues for us this time around. For the lab rival battle, we have Bubble currently, and while that'll be good for Brock, I'm fairly certain we're doing 1 HP per hit. We do end up obviously going down after we trade attacks back and forth. As much as I like to get the early EXP, there was one battle no amount of good luck would actually win us. So, after we lose, we go through the beginning of the game, grabbing as much EXP in battles as we can. By the time that we get back to the rival, we have Vice Grip, and that's what's going to make this battle actually doable. The rival starts with Pidgey, and we open with Bubble as Sand Attack connects. We swap over to Vice Grip as another Sand Attack connects, taking it to yellow. The next turn, we can then take it out. After that, it's Bulbasaur, and we miss, then connect to take it to half. Thankfully, Bulbasaur only knows Tackle this early in the game, and despite missing a few more times, we can take it down with plenty of HP to spare. After that, it's back through the forest, and then time to fight Brock. Geodude is up first, and we open with Bubble, taking it down in one shot. After that, it's Onix, and it opens with Bind, and we take it to yellow with a single Bubble. After that, one more turn, lets us take it down, and that's that. After that, it's time to move to the route to the right, and as of right now, I am on vacation. Naturally, I am the only person I know that actually gets sick while on vacation. Because of that, I have no idea if I'm going to do as much work as I had originally planned, but honestly, I'm enjoying just having the few days off to myself. Even though I'm sick, I can still somewhat function, as you can probably tell by this okay enough voiceover. We do end up grabbing the Dome Fossil, because of course we do, and then after that, we can head into Cerulean. We have two choices, either going to Misty or the rival, and giving our type resistance, I figure we'll go ahead and try our chances with Misty first. Misty starts with Staryu, and it opens with Harden, as we open with Vice Grip, taking it to not quite half. Water Pulse does decent damage, and we take it to red before Misty heals up. Another Vice Grip, another Water Pulse, and we take it to get it into the yellow. Water Pulse does take us to yellow, and we become confused and smack ourselves before it takes us down to 1 HP. We do end up knocking it out, but with 1 hit point to our name, Starmie is able to knock us out immediately. So given the fact that this happens on more than one occasion, we head to the rival to see if that goes any smoother. Pidgeotto is first, and we open with Vice Grip, but Gus connects first, and we take it to almost yellow. We also get hit with a critical hit Tackle, but we could take it out with a critical hit Bubble. Next is Bulbasaur, and we take it to almost half, but a critical hit Vine Whip knocks us out. So getting Roadblock this early on isn't exactly what I had in mind, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The rival's able to knock us out pretty easily with Bulbasaur, which I thought was going to be the case. Then, If we try to go to Misty, she's able to outstall and outdamage us, so without much of an option, we do end up having to level up some. The main thing we need is either one-shot Bulbasaur or be able to survive at least one hit, and honestly, being able to survive more hits is the same problem that we have with Misty as well. At level 25, Quick Attack from Pidgeotto crits, and we take it to yellow, then end up taking it out. Next up is Bulbasaur, and we use Vice Grip, landing our own critical hit, and that actually takes it out in one shot. Abra can't do anything, as we know from prior runs, so it goes down. Last up is Rattata, and a Quick Attack does decent damage, but we do land a one-shot, and that wins us the battle and allows us to move on. Now that this part of the game is opened up, we can go ahead and go through the route to the north. The good news is that we still can't beat Misty afterwards. We can go to the ship. There's even some trainers down south and to the right of Vermilion, so after grabbing a few levels, we head to fight Misty and see what happens this time around. Staryu's up first, and it still outspeeds and uses Harden as we use Vice Grip to take it to yellow. Water Pulse doesn't do much, and we don't smack ourselves, so we can knock it out next turn. Starmie is out, and after that, we snap out of Confusion, taking about a third of its health. Water Pulse takes us to yellow, and Vice Grip takes it to low yellow, but not quite in healing range, so Misty doesn't potion, and then we can go ahead and knock it out. That's 2 badges down, but the worst of the gym leaders are definitely still ahead of us. Truthfully, I don't know if we'll be able to beat Surge or Erica. What we do to make sure we stand the best chance possible is go through and battle every trainer aboard the ship. It gets us some levels and will hopefully make Surge that much easier. But before we do get to Surge, we have a rival battle to cover. Pidgeotto is first, and we open with Vice Grip, taking it to yellow as Sand Attack connects, but we take it down with another Vice Grip. Ivysaur is next, and we take it to about half with Vice Grip. Vine Whip hits hard, but we can take it out next turn. Raticate is out as we take it to red, then Hyper Fang takes us to yellow, and another Hyper Fang takes us to 22 HP. And we miss. But next turn, we outspeed and knock it out and level up. Last is Kadabra, and Confusion takes us to 2 HP, but the RNG gods take pity on us, we land a Vice Grip, knock it out, and then we can move on. We go ahead and give the captain a rubdown, and then head to the Electric Man himself. Voltorb is first and outspeeds us, taking us to almost half with Shockwave as we take it to red. Surge ends up healing up, and then uses Sonic Boom and misses, so we can knock it out without missing any more HP. When Pikachu is out, we swap to Brick Break for power and take it down. Raichu, however, outspeeds and knocks us out immediately. Given the fact that it outspeeds us every time and knocks us out every time, we go ahead and start going through the route heading towards the Dark Cave. Also, at some point, later in the run, you'll see my briefly adjusting volume, and if you pay attention to that little bit, you'll see I've been binge-watching The Boys. I'm about 5 episodes into Season 3 at the time of writing this script, probably 8 episodes by now, and it's been insane. Also, if you want to geek out about TV shows and anime, make sure to join the Discord. It allows you to get updates when new videos drops, the few times I go live on Twitch in a week, and just a way to chat outside of it all. After we clear out the trainers on the way, we head back to Surge, mostly because I don't want to have to backtrack through the cave if I get the chance. And now that we've gained some levels, Voltorb still outspeeds, but it only uses Screech, and we take it out with a single Brick Break. Next out is Pikachu, and we continue with Brick Break, critting it, which I don't think we needed, and we get paralyzed off static. Last up is Raichu, and it begins double teaming as Brick Break takes it to yellow. Surge does end up healing up, but we continue with our onslaught. Shockwave in one shot takes us all the way down to 26 HP, but because we don't get paralyzed and still connect, we can narrowly win this battle. Now, after that, we can fumble around through a dark cave, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and go take on a crime lord. We still have Erica ahead of us, so I'm going to take the safe bet and say that Giovanni shouldn't be too bad. I know that Kangaskhan has proven to be an issue in the past, but we literally have super effective moves for every single one of his Pokemon this early on, so let's see what happens. Giovanni opens up with Onix, and we open with Bubble Beam, and even with our poor special attack, they have a worse special defense, so they go down. Rhyhorn is next, and the same thing also happens with it as well. Last up is Kangaskhan, and Fake Out flinches us, and it takes us to Tail Whip as we use Brick Break, taking it to yellow. Next turn it uses Bite rather than Mega Punch, so that lets us take it out with our next attack. Also, while I'm recording this, my cat has assumed loaf mode. Give me one moment. He's so cute. I love him so much. After that, let's see how we're going to go ahead and do against Erica. Worst case scenario, we can head back to the tower and level up there. With Victory Bell, we open with Swords Dance as it misses its status condition Powder. Due to the miss, we outspeed and mow down her team. This was a third try victory, but the paralysis connecting the first 2 times is apparently the only reason that we lost. Alright, with that, it's time to go ahead and start heading back to the tower and see how we do. Honestly, I'm curious how we're going to do in the back half of the game, because overall, Corphish, I would say, is painfully mid. Water types can typically do somewhat well in this particular gen, but without strong special moves, I can see the back half of the game being a bit of an issue. I think Koga we can get through. Sabrina will be an issue if she outspeeds, and of course she's going to outspeed. And then with Blaine, I think it'll be easy-ish, given the fact that Intimidate won't do anything to us. But, once again, we're always getting ahead of ourselves. Let's see how the rival battle goes within the tower. Pidgeotto's first, and we use Swords Dance because the Ivysaur is in the back waiting for us. Gust connects, and we swap to Return, taking it down in 1 turn. Ivysaur is next, and we close out the Java update on our totally legit console. Outspeed it and take it out in 1 turn. Gyarados is out, and Hyper Cutter starts paying off now, because we use Return and that knocks it out in 1 go. Growlithe is next, and it's the same story as the other Pokemon. The Kadabra on his team is probably the scariest due to its speed, but given our current level, we outspeed it and knock it out in 1 turn to win the battle and begin heading through the rest of the tower. With that done though, we have some travel ahead, and while we watch some Safari Zone footage for this version of Safari Zone Scramble, I just wanted to chat for a few minutes. In January, so just 3 months from now, that'll mark the 2 years since I've started doing Pokemon challenges on this channel. I don't know if I'll do any kind of celebration for that, or even what Pokemon I could use for something like that. After I finish the script, I'm going to go ahead and start on next week's run. We're going to revisit the first 10 or 15 challenges I completed on this channel, but I'm not going to do just Bulbasaur, then Squirtle, then Charmander. I'm still going to mix in some different runs with that. Back then, my thumbnails were, well, pretty horrible if I'm being honest. Without much knowledge, I usually put backgrounds into PowerPoint and then drug a Pokemon into there and would basically pray for the best. Yeah, I'm no pro at it now, but my thumbnails actually do look a lot better. I'm going to start bringing in the legendaries from other gens into this game for a couple quick runs to see if they do as well as the other ones have. But the one thing I wanted to ask before we go to fight Koga, what kind of runs do you want to see on the channel? They don't have to be insanely hard or even insanely easy. Just make sure you let me know what gen you'd want to see it in, because I'm going to be honest, I have lost my totally legit consoles for the later gens, so I may need to find something if you want anything past probably Gen 4. So Koga. Koga has bulky bonds, so we start with Swords Dance as Sludge connects, and then we swap over to Return to knock out the Coughing in 1 go. Muck is next, so we use Return again, taking it to Red as it uses Minimize. Koga heals up, and we can land another Return, taking it back to Red. Then Koga heals up again. We use another Return, taking it to Red as it continues as Minimize, and then we miss. And because of that, Toxic connects to put us on a timer, but thankfully next turn we do connect. The second Coughing is next, so we use Return again, taking it down in 1 shot. Then Wheezing is last, so we take it to Yellow as it uses Smokescreen, and Poison takes us to 23 HP. Somehow we push past the Smokescreen and take it out to win the battle, though if we had missed, Poison definitely would have taken us out. That was easier than I expected. Next up we have the rival fight in Silph.Co. Now, the good news is, if I can't beat the rival, there are plenty of trainers for us to be able to go against. The rival starts with Pidgeot, and we get hit with Wing Attack as we set The rival starts with Pidgeot, and we get hit with Wing Attack as we set up Swords Dance. Wing Attack connects again, and we swap to Return, though we still don't take it out as another Wing Attack connects before it goes down. After that, Venusaur comes out, and it does outspeed us and knock us out immediately with Razor Leaf. Given the fact that even with one boost, if we get the Quick Claw luck, we still can't take it out, it's time to grind for a bit. We get a few vitamins, and then try again. But spoiler alert, it's not going well even with Quick Claw, so we end up having to level up some more before trying again. At level 55, Pidgeot tries to use Feather Dance, which does nothing to us thankfully, and honestly this was the best case scenario because it lets us set up Swords Dance safely. After that, we're able to go on a one-shot Rampage, and the only Mon that outspeeds us is the Alakazam, who, rather than attacking, just uses Future Sight. I did try this again at the various levels in between, and it was going about the same as the first attempt. The small boost in speed, due to our nature, is probably the only reason that we're able to outspeed some of the Pokemon at this level. Alright, time for Giovanni. In comparison to the rival, Giovanni shouldn't be too hard. He starts with Nidorino, and we risk Poison Point, using Return to take it to red. And then Poison Sting is what connects and poisons us, so we swap to Bubble Beam and take it out. Next up is Nidoqueen, and we get Tail Whip, taking it to right around half and lower its speed, which actually is what lets us outspeed it and knock it out next turn. We swap to Brick Break when Kangaskhan comes out, taking it to yellow, and it only uses Tail Whip again before going down. Poison takes us down to 7 HP, but we outspeed his last Pokemon and land a much-needed one-shot to barely win the battle. Think we can win against Sabrina? Let's find out. Kadabra outspeeds and uses Future Sight as we open with Return, taking it down on one shot. Mr. Mime is out, and we use Return again, taking it down on one shot as well. Venomoth is out, and we continue with our returns, taking it to red as Psybeam does connect, and Future Sight also connects. So we could take the Venomoth out shortly after, but our HP isn't in the best shape. However, doesn't matter, because Alakazam is able to easily outspeed us, and with only having a chance to outspeed with the Quick Claw activated, let's just go ahead and see how things go against Blaine. The good news is, if we beat Blaine, we'll get a small special boost, and any boost is better than nothing at this point. Blaine first sends out Growlithe, and we use Return, mostly just wanting to test damage at this point, and it knocks it out. Ponyta's next, and we actually outspeed it, much to my surprise, and we take it out in one shot. Rapidash does outspeed, however, and we get pretty hard by Fire Blast, and we take it to yellow, as another Fire Blast connects before we take it down. With Arcanine, I'm actually pretty proud of this one. We swap over to Bubble Beam, because Arcanine is speedy, as it uses Bite to take us to 2 HP, but with the Bubble Beam, we get the speed drop. And with the speed drop, we outspeed now, and take it down with a Return to win the battle. Top 5 Bricker Boom plays right there. Yes, I'm aware it was dependent on RNG, but I'm taking this as a top 5 play, and you can't stop me. Back to Sabrina. Now, we still don't outspeed Kadabra, but it only sets up Calm Mind before going down to 1 return. After that, Mr. Mime still goes down. Then Venomoth now goes down to a single shot, like the other Pokemon. Finally, it's Alakazam, and Psychic is still doing massive damage, but since we can survive now, we can take it down in one shot, winning us the 7th badge. Neat. With Giovanni coming up, we do take the time to level up through the trainers in Giovanni's gym. At the end of the day, Giovanni likely won't be too much of an issue, but we do have a beefed up rival, and then after that, all of the Elite Four. Aside from a few trainers on Victory Road, this is really the last place to get EXP before we start worrying about using Candy so often. Giovanni starts with Rhyhorn, and we open with Bubble Beam, taking it out in a single shot. Next is Dugtrio, who absolutely outspeeds us, and we hit it with Bubble Beam, taking it down in one shot. Nidoqueen is out, we can take it to red as Earthquake does a good bit of damage before Giovanni heals up. We take it back to red, and Giovanni heals up a second time. Honestly, I'm okay with him wasting the potions here. And with that, 2 more Bubble Beams take it down. Nidoking is out, and we can also take it to red as it knocks us to 9 HP. But due to no heal up, we can take it down. We, of course, outspeed Rhyhorn, knocking it out in one shot, and that's that. Truthfully, I didn't think that Giovanni was going to be such a close battle. Usually, if you have any kind of type advantage, Giovanni is laughable at best. A win is a win, but I don't think we're going to win against the rival. The rival starts off with Pidgeot, and we use Swords Dance as Pidgeot hits with a solid wing attack, and then we can take it down in one shot. Then comes out Venusaur, who immediately outspeeds us and obliterates us like Exodia and Yu-Gi-Oh! With a single Razor Leaf. So we do try this battle a few different times, and even with the Quick Claw equipped, try saying that 5 times fast, we're not able to take out Venusaur quickly enough. Razor Leaf does have a 95% chance to hit, but that 5% only miss affects only me when I use it and never the AI. So after some level ups and triple checking that the Quick Claw is in fact equipped, we try again. With Pidgeot, we set up Swords Dance, and then afterwards we can take it down in one shot. Next up is Venusaur, and we need 2 things to happen. First, we need to live off a Razor Leaf, which thankfully we do, off 7 HP. Then, we need Bubble Beam to lower its speed, which it does. Afterwards, that is what lets us take it out with Return. After that, the remainder of his team all go down in a single shot, only because Alakazam just decided to go with Future Sight. I had tried this battle before, about 12 different times, and Return would always leave Venusaur with a Sliver, so this was the only guaranteed way to get the KO. Bubble Beam speed lowering was not a strategy that I had figured I would need in this particular run, but it's a strat that I never get to use, so I'm not going to complain. After that, it's time to head through Victory Road, and I don't feel super confident going into this series of battles. I doubt Lorelei will be a problem since we can resist a majority of her moves and her Pokemon. Bruno will probably be pretty easy, and then I believe Agatha, Lance, and the final rival will be a lot of problems, but let's see how we go ahead and do against Lorelei. Against Dugong, we go ahead and set up Swords Dance and then swap over to Brick Break for the super effective damage, knocking it out. After that, Cloyster always enjoys wasting time with Protect, but we can take it out without getting any damage dealt against us. After that, Slowbro goes to half with Return, and it only sets up Amnesia before going down as well. Next, Jinx uses Ice Punch, and that lets us take it down. And then finally, with Lapras, it goes down to a single Brick Break. This battle took me 17 attempts because Lovely Kiss and Attract was wrecking Corphish. We are apparently a very sleepy, easily seduced Pokemon. Next up is Bruno, and we immediately start with Swords Dance as Rock Tomb misses, and then we swap over to Bubble Beam, knocking out the Onix with a single shot. After that, Hitmonchan also ends up missing, so we can knock it out as well. Hitmonlee is out and does end up connecting with a Mega Kick before it goes down to a single Return as well. Machamp goes to low yellow, and the berry takes it out of healing range. It does use Scary Face, but we can still outspeed it and knock it out. Last but not least is his Onix, and the Earthquake connects, but since Onix possesses the attack of a small child, it doesn't do much and goes down to Bubble Beam. Alright, that was simple enough. Next up is Agatha. Agatha starts with Gengar, and we start with Bubble Beam. Between Confusion and Sucker Punch, we end up going down. As much as I don't want to, I think it's time to abandon Bubble Beam, and even with Surf, we're still not doing enough damage. Now, if you find yourself backed into a corner, Corphish does have access to Crunch, and you can go to the Sevi Islands, trade in some mushrooms, and relearn the move. However, that is a bit of a time sink that I do not have, so we do end up leveling up, though with Crunch, I'm pretty sure we would win this quicker. At level 72, we start with Swords Dance because we have a Golbat and Arbok to take care of. During this, Gengar only double teams, and while it takes a few turns to connect, we do end up taking it down. Golbat can hit hard with Air Cutter, but we hit back harder with Return and knock it out. Arbok hits us with Sludge Bomb, and we can take it out as well. With the next Gengar, we actually get a much-needed critical hit to take it down, and then Haunter just uses Curse, so it goes down to a single Surf as well. Now we've covered a decent little bit of losses here, so I hope you'll forgive me if I don't worry too much about it with Lance. Lance starts with Gyarados, and we use Swords Dance twice, then take it down with Return, but our HP isn't great. At this level, we outspeed the 2 Dragonair that go down in a single shot. With Dragonite, we also outspeed and one-shot it as well. Then, Aerodactyl, the only reason we can get past it is the fact that Quick Claw activates, because this is a pretty big speedster, but we take it down and win the battle. Now, if you thought by me saying in the previous little bit that the losses were over, then you are sorely mistaken. Now, with Swords Dances, we can take out the Pidgeot, thankfully, but the Venusaur goes to red, outspeeds us, and takes us down. We do try this about a dozen times, but we just can't get past it. Even if the Quick Claw activates where Pidgeot had used Sand Attack on us, we end up missing a handful of times, which also ends up making us lose as well. This takes a lot of attempts, but finally, mercifully, at level 85, this happens. We opened with Swords Dance, and Pidgeot hits us with Sand Attack, then goes down. Venusaur, for whatever reason, uses Growth, and we get a high roll on the damage to knock it out. With Alakazam, the Quick Claw activates, letting us take it down in one turn and outspeed it, obviously. With the Rhydon, we can then one-shot it with a single Surf. We miss twice against the Gyarados as it hits 2 Hydro Pumps and a Dragon Rage before we take it down. Then, with Arcanine, we land a Surf to win the battle in the run. That run was a little bit tougher than I would have initially thought, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Anytime I can be a little cheeky with setup moves, especially since I don't get to use them super often, I'll jump at the chance. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this run, and for next week, I'll probably try to have the Bulbasaur run done. Or maybe I'll change my mind halfway through recording. I do know I want to try a Pidgey and Spearow run, though admittedly, I'm not sure if either can be done. I have been doing a little research on that one, and I think Fearow and Pidgeot is going to be the best bet of actually being able to finish the run. Either way, though, I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more content, my channel is full of it. In the meantime, though, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out. I'm going to go make some tea.